Welcome to STARCARD Podcast. Here at STARCARD Podcast, we get a glimpse at the age of Aquarius ahead of us. We also examine the worlds of education and workplace ethics. My name is Breakaway Ray, and if Joe Pesci was doing the introductions this morning, he might have said, "Hey, welcome to STARCARD Podcast. My name is Breakaway Ray. I got your star card right here." You've tuned in to a live tarot throw. Let me say that again. You've tuned in to a live tarot throw. Today is September 18th, 2025, and I've got 4 cards for you. Are you ready? Let's go to the tarot cam. Good morning to everyone. Oh, look, we already have friends in the chat. Everyone knows I'm going to read the chat later. Good morning. Thanks for joining me. These 4 cards are for you, not just our friends in the chat watching live, but also, how about everyone catching the recording later? Can't get enough STARCARD Podcast. Let's start you off with 4 cards. 4 cards for the 4th workday of the week. Sounds good to me. These 4 cards are for you. The tarot world wants to send you a helpful, fun message whenever you're tuning in, because you're tuning in to STARCARD Podcast. Here's your present. The spirit world wants to offer you a fun, helpful message, a way to stay aligned along your soul's path. 4 cards for the viewers, please. Thank you very much. 4 cards for you. Thank you so much for joining me. 4 cards. This is for entertainment purposes only. It's only been 1 minute and 50 seconds, and if you're still tuned in, perhaps you're entertained already. First up, for you, yay, it's the 5 of Swords. That was a facetious yay, I know. The 5 of Swords talks about conflict. Let's take a closer look at this card here. Conflict, disagreements, competition, defeat, winning at all costs, sneakiness, bullies, theft, and abusive relationships. But you know what? All I'm thinking is this feels like a Thursday, because you want to get done. You want to wrap up all your conflicts so that you can coast into Friday. That's my initial take. We still got 3 more cards for you. Let's check it out. All right. The moon indicates intuition and subconscious. And I'm going to say, if I have to go right with my instinct, my gut feeling right away, it sounds like the tarot world's confirming what I'm saying. Let's wrap up what we can on Thursday, make it easy on a Friday. We shouldn't even have 5-day weeks or 7-day weeks. We should be down to 4 or 3.5-day weeks. But that's another bunch of words out of my mouth when I get up on my soapbox. Let's continue with your 4 cards. Come on, Breakaway Ray. Oh, yeah, nice. I like this card. It's the 3 of Wands. The 3 of Wands talks about creating your own luck. Luck is where preparation meets opportunity. I often shared in the classroom when I was a teacher that you don't win a football game on Sunday because you got lucky. You practiced all week. You were ready for it. You practiced your plays. And this is probably a message that goes along with our first 2 cards. Got a goal to wrap up all the tough stuff on a Thursday? Good thinking. Follow your gut. Now let's make it happen in the 3D with the 3 of Wands. Here's your last card, everybody. All right. We're talking about luck. The tarot world rocks, right? They're in the house. It's the Wheel of Fortune card. So create your own luck, everybody. Get your nose to the grindstone. Am I like mixing metaphors here? Grind it out today. Work hard now so you can do a little coasting. Again, it goes along with Breakaway Ray's philosophy. Save for a rainy day. You got nothing better to do. Knock something out of your way. Get a lesson plan done. Get ahead of things. And then you can open up more time for later. So there's your 4 cards, everybody. I'm so excited to share that fun, helpful message with you. And while we're down here at the tarot cam, I want to show you the postcard I have over there. It's an unusual canaletto. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. So a famous Italian painter named Canaletto evidently also traveled to England, according to what I've learned about him. And this is actually a building in England. And let me flip it over for you. Well, flip it over for me so I can read what it says, right? This is a picture in London in the interior of the Rotunda at Ranelagh. And Ranelagh, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly in whatever dialect you want, but Ranelagh is spelled capital Ranelagh. Now, Signore Canaletto, also his real name is Giovanni Antonio Canal, Canal. I know it sounds just like and spelled just like the word canal, right? And Venice is filled with canals. This makes it sound like it's one of those false stories you get from the artificial intelligence about your history. The guy's name is actually Canal. He paints canals, right? But anyway, Signore Canaletto lived from 1697 to 1768. And as a matter of fact, this painting is in the National Gallery in London. I've been there many times. I don't know if I saw this painting there. So to continue, maybe you can't see it on your computer so well, but I'm looking at this painting now in light of all the videos I've seen from Old World Exploration and Michelle Gibson. I'm looking at the size of the people. I'm remembering that this is probably the 1700s. And I'm wondering, how could that building get completed by the 1700s? Again, that's supposedly, at least or about 200 years before electricity and power tools. Power tools were supposedly invented in 1895. There's no gasoline powered engines. How do you transport all that stuff? How did people get those? Even if it's just wood, and it's not stone and it's not iron, how did they really do all those things? If you have someone named Canaletto painting like this, okay, how come we don't have paintings with the same kind of exquisite and precise detail of when they were erecting these things? These buildings certainly took a long time to build. Some of their stories say that. So how come no one's writing about it? There's no paintings of, huge caravans and trains of horses dragging huge stones into the center of town. It's because those things didn't happen. Okay, you're listening to the STARCARD podcast. This is for entertainment purposes only. I hope you're having fun following along with my imagination, but Earth was a different place, probably not too long ago. And history has been wiped, and it keeps getting wiped. Anyway, sure love this postcard. Sure love looking at it. I'm going to set it down now because I got some more notes to share. What a surprise, right? All right. So, when I prepare for our morning shows together, I take a lot of notes, and then I realize when the show is done, gee, I didn't say this thing, this thing, this thing, or this thing. So I'm going to slow down a little bit. This is a little bit like what goes on in the classroom, at least for me. You're either getting ahead or you're leaving some things out, and then you have to plan ahead to squeeze those things in, right? It's all time management. Anyway, let me go to my book very quickly, and I'm going to show you some pictures that you can't see very well, and that's part of my point. Let me see. Well, yeah, let me check my notes real quick. Make sure I'm staying on target, right? Right. Okay. Okay. So, but before I go to the book, okay, along with themes of the old world, okay, what are we missing? So I'm putting together in my mind, after watching hundreds of hours of documentaries, Michelle Gibson, for example, talks about, canals and even rivers, rivers with S-shaped bends and buildings that look exactly the same. Not only do the buildings look exactly the same, but the whole street corner looks exactly the same, on 3 or 4 different continents, same kinds of buildings, stuff that we're not supposed to be paying attention to. And then, as I mentioned over and over again, you can check my description. I have links to these people. Old World Exploration spends a lot of time showing us the outsides of buildings that some of them are not around anymore. They've been taken down. And then people like the guy at Hidden World, he also goes inside the buildings, I would say a little bit more than the Old World Exploration guy, but although he does it too, pretty outstanding. And then when you put it together, you have, again, how did all these things get built? Even if they had all the technology we have, there's very little, really any record of it. It doesn't make sense. The story doesn't make sense. So, and you're looking at the inside of the building, marble, perfection in craftsmanship, even the ceilings with artwork and crenellations and moldings, incredible stuff built on top of a mountain somehow, or downtown in the middle of a city, or way out in the middle of Iowa or Wisconsin somehow, when supposedly we were just settling an area that was wide open space and nature, etc. So, and then when you look at all those things, we also find out that there's an underground. And I'm going to say here in the year 2025, we're this close to finding out more about what's underneath us. I know we're all becoming aware of the secret space program. Happy to share the news with you, but equally as interesting has to be what's underground, because a lot of what's going on up there is controlled from down there. So anyway, I'm going to have some fun now looking at a 5th grade social studies book from 1990. And I want to show you that a lot of this stuff is hidden in plain sight. Like the pictures are so small, and the children were so young, and the teacher was so busy. If we had some magnifying glasses, we might just stop and pause and say, hey, wait a second, look at that picture. What's wrong with this picture? That's like a favorite thing kids like to do, right? The Highlights magazine, what's wrong with this picture? Anyway, so I believe that there was free energy. I believe that electricity was abundant. I knew that, I figured that Nikola Tesla figured out how it was done. Now, he lost the battle on reviving, free electricity to a man whose name I don't like to say much, because I don't want to bring this guy into the picture. I'm still kind of upset. I have boundaries, even spiritual boundaries. That guy's not allowed. Okay, he's not part of my conversation, although he's not welcome right now. Okay, I'm not ready to be diplomatic and polite with that person. And but for sure, I'm going to be introducing you to why I feel that way. Okay, I believe that there were airships. I've seen enough videos where they're talking about cities like in New York, where the tops of the buildings would make perfect docking stations for these airships. And why don't we have airships? Because largely the Hindenburg. All you have to do is say Hindenburg, and then everyone just nods their head. Oh yeah, can't have airships. Not possible. I don't know. Okay, I'm pretty sure airships were abundant in the old world. Okay, that's another thing. That's a nice little propaganda trick right there. So I'm talking about the old world, and 5 years ago, old world meant to me Europe, and new world meant to me mostly the United States and North America and the areas that the Europeans colonized. But really, that's obfuscation. It's clever propaganda. Our words got twisted around. We're all in a new world right now, and the old world is this world that I'm talking about, with free electricity, free rail, developed cities, trolleys, airships, stuff we can't even imagine. And somehow we're getting video of it on feeds, on social media platforms, right? Now's our chance to learn this stuff, bring it into our collective conscience, and then prevent people from gaslighting us and rewriting history in the future. Because humanity is a unit, and we all need to move forward together. And so there's another example of this, by the way, as far as progress goes. So you can see I'm checking my notes, right? So some years ago, I'm going to say, 15, within the last 15 or 30 years, there was a regulation, miles per gallon, gas efficiency for vehicles. And at one point, vehicles were easily getting, 50 miles a gallon. And then, because that's what the recommendation was, that was the standard. And then when, automobiles had reached that level where engines were going 50 miles a gallon, it wasn't like a big deal. Okay. They reset everything. And whoever set the regulation said, okay, your cars only have to get 35 miles to the gallon. And so manufacturers weren't required to make those very efficient engines. That certainly works for the oil industry. Oh, the poor oil industry. I'm sure glad that the United States of America gives the oil industry billions of dollars. They need the money. They need the handout. that was totally facetious. Please read the lines on my face, okay? Or read my expressions, tongue in cheek. Okay, we're giving the oil industry billions of dollars, and we're working for that money. We work to give the money to organizations like that. So this kind of stuff happens all the time. It's the playbook we all have to become aware of. And if we all start looking at that through that prism, that perspective that I just presented, how's someone making a buck on this? Something from me, or I have to work, pay for something I already had, I'm already entitled to. Okay, if that's what we all walk away from STARCARD podcast thinking about, I'm giving myself a thumbs up. Okay, all right. So let's take a look at some of these fun pictures. First, I'm going to go to page 30. Oh, sorry. Some of you may not have seen the book before. So this is a 5th grade social studies book. This is not the only history book that I've ever studied, of course. So that's why it's fun to use this, because I can pick it apart and I can show, what might be true. I got some questions about anything that happens before the world wars, but I can show you what might be true. And then we could talk about alternative perspectives. Alternative perspectives I would never have considered when I was a young man in my 20s. I wouldn't have known any better. I just got out of the education system myself. Page 30. Let's go to the tarot cam too. I must have meant a different page. Let me check page 130. All right, here we go. So first of all, on this page, this is my introduction to President Thomas Jefferson as a teacher. And you can see that he's famous for having designed and built Monticello, that's his home in Virginia. It is said that Thomas Jefferson went to Italy, and while he was there, that genius, I don't doubt that he could have done this, that this genius, studied Roman architecture and then came back and duplicated this on his own property there. Saying, now I'm raising a question about that, because there's a story about J. Paul Getty Museum. There's another guy whose name I don't really like to say too much. Out here in California, that person had a museum out right along the Pacific Ocean, has a great view. He had not a museum built, he had a Roman villa duplicated. I think I've said this on an earlier STARCARD podcast. He had a Roman villa duplicated, one that was in Italy, and he said, I want it exactly like that, only I want it, in the bluffs looking over the Pacific Ocean. And so it's an exact copy. So my take on that is, you know what? I don't think that's what happened. I think that he just commandeered something that was already there. It was a structure that was already there. Okay. All right. So I'm already calling into question. I'm calling into question Thomas Jefferson all the time, and I still stand by my statement. He's one of my favorite presidents, just on an intellectual reputation there. I like the fact that he was a polyglot and allegedly a humanitarian who penned the Declaration of Independence. All right, what's up on my book here? 228. Yeah, I've said these things in the classroom. Well, thank you, Mr. Breakaway. Your career is over. Okay, so this is a picture. This is an interesting picture. I like this picture. The one right up here. I've got my thumb on. So you might see like a little bit of a blip, a little bit of a hill up there, and that's actually supposedly the last bit of dirt that was removed through an explosion when the two sides of the Panama Canal were joined and the waters of the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean mingled. So this is supposedly a photograph of that very moment. And again, STARCARD podcast, Breakaway Ray telling a story. I'm suggesting there might have been some kind of infrastructure of a canal already there. Maybe, it had been covered up in a mud flood, maybe, because I'll just stop there. Let me show you some more pictures. Going backwards now to page 209. Oh, so who I got here? I have here two famous tycoons. One is Andrew Carnegie, and look at that. Whose picture's in the fifth grade social studies book? It's John D. Rockefeller. I guess we'll talk about these gentlemen some other time. They're right there in the book. Yeah. Well, they're right there in the book. And the things that came to my mind when I was thinking about my presentation today was, you know, it really feels like their images, like Edison's, were sanitized and glamorized. You know, for sure. In Edison's case, his image was sanitized. By the way, Edison's image was sanitized. I'm going to make it dirty today. And glamorized. I don't know if you could think of anyone else who might have had their images sanitized and glamorized. Brigham Young. Excuse me. And then how about we go to 211? Oh yeah, check this out. So here's a picture of a turn of the 20th century. I think it's 1903, maybe 1909, New York City. I think, well, it's certainly a major city in the United States. And you could see travel by horse and cart, okay? And I think that this was part of the suffrage movement where women were, well, I'm going to say women and men were lobbying appropriately for women to be able to vote. But then, you know what? We would just say, well, those are just buildings, you know, a bunch of 10, 11-year-old kids looking at this picture. They're just buildings. We don't know what was around, you know, 100 years ago or whatever, but look at those buildings. I mean, even what you could probably see on the computer, just that little corner turn there, and even these in the background on the right side of the picture, those windows and the ornate facade. That's amazing stuff to be built when you only had power tools in 1895 and you got no gasoline-powered engines and you're doing it all in downtown New York City. Okay, so let's put this book away. That was a lot of fun. How am I doing? Oh, okay. We're coming up on Breakaway Ray's tarot talk pretty soon here. Let me see what I got. Yeah. All right. Here we go. So, hey everybody, I'm back to the Scholastic. You know, by the way, I think Scholastic has a interesting history as a corporation. You might look into who owned Scholastic, the publishers of this book. You know, Scholastic is a very prominent textbook provider in public education. As far as I'm concerned, spent more than 30 years in the business. Anyway, here we are. It's the Encyclopedia of Presidents and Their Time. I'm skipping ahead in the United States to President Rutherford B. Hayes, president from 1877 to 1881, still before the power tools and supposedly before electricity, despite the Chicago World's Fair, which I think comes later. Don't quote me on that, but obviously look at what I got there. Sanitized and glamorized. The Wizard of Menlo Park invents a light bulb. Yeah, okay, great. This is what we're telling the children. So when we all grow up, you know, Edison gets his just respect. What else have I got here? Yeah. Going backwards in time in the United States to President Ulysses S. Grant, according to what I've learned, one of our most corrupt presidents. Well, I'll just give it to him for the century he was in. I think the 21st century has a new front runner, or a couple of new front runners. We're not getting into that right now. Come on, Breakaway Ray, focus. So look at that. It says Golden Spike completes Transcontinental Railroad. I can't tell you how many times I've shown students this picture of the two trains nose to nose and everyone standing around when they drive in that Golden Spike. And of course, to go along with my story, could that be when they actually finally dug out the railway and made it cross continental? Couldn't it be? And then, before I get there, let me just make sure I'm not missing something back here. Oh, and there's a building, and you can check out that building. That's at least 15 stories. I know it's hard for you to see, but check out the sidewalk down there. I think there's actually people down there or something to scale where you could see just how amazing and big that building is. Not just amazing and big, but also it's well designed. When you build something like that, you have to have a foundation to hold up all that weight. Okay, something we can't even get straight today. All right, not to get off target here. And this is something that they did, just as electricity was coming in and there were still no power vehicles. How did they bring all that material downtown like that? And so look at the title here. It says, I'll have to read it to you, The Age of the Skyscraper. So my take on this is a total made up thing, the age of the skyscraper. These skyscrapers were around already, maybe already hundreds of years. And you could go to cities in Italy where they have skyscrapers supposedly like in the 1400s and 1500s. And just like a lot of the buildings in our cities in the United States and Canada and probably Australia also and other parts of Asia, they've all been knocked down to remove it from our imaginations and our observations so that we don't ask questions about it. After all, our job is just to be worker drones, wage slaves, feeding whoever's benefiting from our labor, right? Whichever parasites those are. And then finally, we've got P.T. Barnum, and that's going back to, okay, so the building I just showed you, the age of skyscrapers, was the age of President Taft, okay? And that was ahead of Rutherford B. Hayes. So we're going back to Rutherford B. Hayes's days, and we've got P.T. Barnum here. P.T. Barnum, famous for the circus. And I'd like to read to you a little bit about P.T. Barnum. It says here, P.T. Barnum, Phineas Taylor Barnum was probably America's greatest showman. So I'm going to pause there. America's Greatest Showman. I believe that there was a movie a couple of years ago starring Hugh Jackman of Wolverine fame, immensely talented actor. He's been in musicals. I think he was in Les Miserables or something like that. He's an excellent singer. He's an intriguing actor. And I believe, I never saw the movie, he was the lead in that movie, The Greatest Showman, about P.T. Barnum. And I want you to know that some years ago, I was listening to, I'm going to remember his name in a minute. I can't even remember the name of the broadcast, but it was public radio out here in Southern California. And the gentleman who was DJing at the time, the name is going to come to me after I leave the show. He was pointing out that P.T. Barnum, he had his circus freaks and he didn't treat people humanely. And I'm just going to have to stop there. A lot of us who are old enough or who have studied long and we know information from TV would say, yeah, things were tough in the olden days, Breakaway Ray. Even you know that, Breakaway Ray. Before you were born, and you're pretty old, born in the middle of the 20th century like that. So yes, but I'm still not a big fan of not treating people nicely. So anyway, I'm going to read a little bit more about P.T. Barnum, and then I'm ready to bring in some guests to comment on our hidden history and the things that we've discussed just now. I keep saying things we've discussed. I'm doing all the talking. Things I've been monologuing about. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate your time. Hope you're having a good time. So more about P.T. Barnum. P.T. Barnum was probably America's greatest showman next to Breakaway Ray. His most famous acts were the 25-inch tall midget, General Tom Thumb, and singer Jenny Lind, whom Barnum billed as the Swedish Nightingale. Barnum was already 60 years old when he started his first circus during the early 1870s. In 1881, he teamed up with James A. Bailey. Until that time, circuses were one-ring affairs that usually played small towns. The Barnum and Bailey circus, however, reflected Barnum's legendary sense of spectacle. It had 3 rings toured major cities, and featured nationally known acts such as the Elephant Jumbo. Barnum called it the greatest show on earth. So I wanted you to hear about Jumbo the elephant, because that's where I'm going next. Going back to Thomas Edison, there's a very sad story to share, which I learned from Chris Anatra, and I'm trying to remember the name of his show now. Can't remember right now. His last name is Anatra, A-N-A-T-R-A, and he hosts a show that talks about Mandela effects, and sometimes Sean Bond joins him as co-host. So Chris Anatra was the first person who told me this story, and that is that Edison electrocuted an elephant. I had to say it, right? Just get it out of the way. And you could easily look this up yourself. I'm not going to show it, obviously, but I want to tell you about that. The elephant's name was Topsy. And I looked it up on the computer this morning. I already knew about it, right? But I looked it up on the computer this morning, and I wanted to hear what they had to say about it. So I would like to read to you right off the internet. I'm adjusting my windows here so I can make it easy for me to read. Stand by, please. Check this out. Come on, here we go. All right. I think I'm getting there. All right. So Topsy was a Coney Island elephant. And from what I learned, it doesn't say this here. From what I learned, there was a man who was messing around, and he put his cigarette out on Topsy. And just like any of us, Topsy was upset about it. And I believe in self-defense, Topsy put the man to rest permanently. So that's the story, but they characterize it in such a way that Topsy went crazy. So they chained him up to train rail lines, and they electrocuted him. So let me read to you what it says, just from a cursory quick look on the computer. What can we learn just with one quick look? Topsy, an elephant at Coney Island's Sea Lion Park, was considered dangerous after killing a man in 1902. On January 4th, 1903, Topsy was electrocuted, and Edison's studio filmed the event, which was later released as the film Electrocuting an Elephant. The film showed electrodes being fastened to Topsy's feet, the application of 6,600 volts of electricity, and Topsy collapsing to the ground. It's hard not to be judgmental or say judgmental things. So now I'm comparing the story of what we just heard. I'm not comparing it. I'm looking at it through the eyes of propaganda, right? There's a lot of stuff we don't know and are not told about Edison. This was certainly not taught to me in school when I was in school. And also, by the way, I went to elementary school in the 1970s, and I know I've said this before on previous shows. I never heard of Nikola Tesla before. I had to be a teacher for 15, 20 years for some student to tell me about Nikola Tesla. It just shows you how well insulated information is. Okay, they could have easily have told us about this stuff. But what if we knew about energy and how everything is electromagnetism? And what if we knew about the fourth state of matter, plasma, which is most of the universe? Well, we would learn then how to control it. Okay, we wouldn't just let someone else control everything for us. We're all co-creators here on Earth's surface. We have godlike powers, and we can make things happen with our imaginations. We can call it magic if you want, but intention matters. So as a matter of propaganda, I can think of one expert in propaganda. Her name is Leni Riefenstahl, German is not one of my languages, so I hope I pronounced that right. Leni Riefenstahl, and she's from World War II, pre-World War II Germany. Now, here's some more words I can't say. I mean, Edison's name I didn't want to say. These are names I can't say. Oh, hey, can you see these? Here we go. Right? I'm talking about that era of German history, European history. And down below, I can't say the other part. You can't say the top part because of the second part. And you'll have to learn more about Operation Paperclip to figure out what I mean. Not going to get into it right now. But what I want to do is I want to talk about Leni Riefenstahl, whether or not she believed in the theology that she propagated with her excellent filmmaking. I would suggest that she's the right person to ask about propaganda. So I wonder if there's anything else I can find for you about Ms. Riefenstahl, Frau Riefenstahl. I don't know if she's married or if I'm saying that correctly. Let's see if I can read you. Yeah, it says here on the computer, the most prominent filmmaker associated with those guys, Riefenstahl was commissioned by the leader of that party to produce films that were a blend of art and propaganda. And here are some films that are credited to Leni Riefenstahl. Triumph of the Will, 1935. Olympia, 1938. And her legacy, it says here, after World War II, Riefenstahl was heavily criticized. Yeah, heavily criticized as a propagandist for that team, though she continued to deny awareness of the regime's atrocities and defended her work on artistic merit. So I'm going to praise her artistic merit. And she may not have known, maybe she did know, but aren't we talking a lot here on STARCARD podcast about compartmentalized information? She may not have known. She may not have known. I mean, after all, she was spending all of her attention sanitizing, well, not so much sanitizing, but certainly glamorizing, right? Okay, that's not here or there. So the reason why we're inviting Topsy in is because we want to hear from Topsy if Topsy has a comment on the event. And also, we're inviting Ms. Riefenstahl in so she can tell us about propaganda and maybe she has a message for us. So that's where I'm going with this today. And then we'll open it up, the second part of the show, to audience's readings, audience requests. Okay, one moment, please. Let me get my windows all set up. So there's one more thing I want to say. I'm glad I remember this before I go back down to the tarot cam. So you might remember a cartoon movie about a cartoon circus elephant named Dumbo. Had big ears, learned to fly. So this probably doesn't surprise you, but even in the year 2022, 2023, I was one of the last school teachers to have a VCR, a videotape player. I had a large library of videotapes, which would have been nothing, for me or my students if I didn't have the VCR. And I came across a video of that original cartoon, right, about the circus elephant that we were just talking about. So I said, you know what? I looked at the producers of the film. I think you all know who I'm talking about. They got branches in Orlando and out here in Anaheim, California, right? I'm all, okay, these guys can't go wrong, right? Also, everyone loves this elephant. Everyone loves the story of the flying elephant. So I didn't pre-screen it. And I'm all, well, regardless of what the circumstances were, I didn't pre-screen it. I didn't have time that time. I just trusted that company would do a good job. After all, they're such pros at creating entertainment for children. We put the cartoon on, and I was busy doing whatever it was I needed to get done. And then eventually, just by listening in and then keeping an eyeball on the class, I realized that this cartoon was not appropriate for children. It was not making them happy, and I was even feeling uncomfortable with it. And again, we could all say, hey, Breakaway Ray, that was 80 years ago. No wonder it was a little bit different. Those were different days back then. All right. Well, then let's turn that into a positive. Hey, everybody, it's 2025. These are different days now. Okay. Let's be kind to each other. Let's maintain a positive attitude. And now let's go to the tarot cam and let's hear from Topsy the elephant and let's hear from Leni Riefenstahl, and let's have some more fun. I want to thank everyone for their patience. Keep to my plan. I can't wait to read the chat after the show. I'll be looking for who wants reading soon. Ooh, looks like I went a little long, everybody. 40 minutes. All right. Well, I have to make it up to the show's producer later. Okay, so good morning to the tarot world. Thank you so much. Every time we turn on the camera at STARCARD Podcast, the tarot world is ready to go, delivering messages. You already gave us a great message at the beginning of the show. So, hey, today I'm asking for your help. I'm sure that Topsy the elephant and Leni Riefenstahl heard my presentation. They knew beforehand, before I turned on the camera, that I hoped that they would show up and offer their commentary. Please show us what we need to see. Please tell us what we need to hear. What would Topsy the elephant like to tell us? What would Leni Riefenstahl like to say? About many of the subjects that I covered the last 40 minutes. We invite Topsy and Leni to come comment, please. Thank you very much for coming in. We appreciate your time. We all hope you're doing well. And after all, by sharing information with us, it helps people. So we love having you here. Thanks for joining us. I know a lot of people right now are probably thinking to themselves, I want to pet Topsy. I want to pat Topsy on the side of his broad, gray-skinned body. I think Topsy was a male. Oh, no, wait, Topsy was female. I think Topsy was female. That's right. Again, the story from Chris Sinatra. Okay. Thank you, Topsy. Thank you, Leni. Thank you, Tarot World. These are messages from Topsy and Leni. Commenting, saying hello, and letting us know. Let's go 5 cards. Thanks, Topsy. How about you, Leni? I know you want to say something. Thanks for coming, Leni. What a great filmmaker, for sure. Artistic merit. I agree with you. If anyone understands how to communicate to the audience, it's Leni. Okay. And then let's offer the tarot world a final message. I'm sure Leni and Topsy would like to join together with the tarot world and send us a fun message. Thanks, Leni and Topsy. Thanks, tarot world. This is so much fun. This is for entertainment purposes only. Okay. We got messages, I hope. I believe, I definitely believe, from Topsy the elephant and Leni Riefenstahl. Here we go. Let's hear from Topsy. Oh, sweet. The Queen of Swords, and everyone knows who's been tuning in to STARCARD Podcast, she's the one that says, you were right. So I feel good and confident, like I have a vote of confidence from Topsy, that I told a true story for a good reason. Thanks, Queen of Swords. Thanks, Topsy. Next up, it's the Emperor. And the Emperor is in control. Here's the King of Cups, emotionally balanced, compassion, empathic. Okay. Here's the part of the story that I didn't tell you, ladies and gentlemen. According to what I heard from Chris Sinatra, if I remember this correctly, the spirit of Topsy is royalty, right? There's reincarnation. And at one point, Topsy was or is still a queen. And even though I just read about the King of Cups, how very majestic he is, does that also sound like a queen who cares about her subjects? And, you know, when I talked about royalty, you know, there you are with more royalty, the Emperor, okay? So there's masculine energy here with Topsy, masculine but powerful energy right next to the Queen of Swords. Again, Topsy may have been a queen. Look at how we're doing. Topsy's in the house. Plenty of room for you, Topsy. No problem. Big top of my living room, plenty of room here. Next up, oh yeah. And so we have the Five of Swords, the conflict card again. And yeah, we were talking about the conflict with Topsy's end. And the Eight of Cups says it's the walk-away card. And so I'm looking at the Eight Cups. Everyone looks at the Eight Cups on the Eight of Cups card and says, you know, it looks like there's 8 cups there, but it still feels like there's something missing. It looks like there's something missing, but all 8 cups are there. And that kind of matches up with the story that we told about Topsy today. You know, the computer made it look like it was all there. Yeah, you got an out of control elephant, you know, take care of it. But that's not really how it worked. We need to walk away from that. I want to say that the Queen of Swords cares about the truth and her subjects. And she's a great guide. She's someone we want in charge. And she really is cut out to be in charge. And she cares about us right now. And regarding the conflict, she's saying, yeah, that's propaganda. And I'm not saying she's saying that we should walk away from it. She wanted us to know about it. But she is saying it is propaganda. There's 8 cups there. Yeah, but something's missing. No. All 8 cups are there. Yeah, there's something missing. I'm walking away, right? Hey, Topsy, that was pretty cool. And Topsy, you know, even after today, anytime you want to come back and hang out in my living room, there's always room for you. We love having you. Thanks, Topsy. And now, speaking of propaganda, okay, let's hear from the pro. Whoa. Just like Leni Riefenstahl would, she starts with the Ace of Wands, creating magic, creating celluloid magic. Let's see what it says here. The Ace of Wands, new project, inspiration, urge to create. Yeah. Welcome, Leni. Thank you. Oh, the Seven of Swords indicates something's hidden. Isn't that the nature of propaganda? Got to hide something. And the propagandist has all the tools. And if you look at the card carefully, look it up online, there's tents back there. And in those tents are soldiers. All their tools are taken away from them. Okay, while we've been sleeping, the propagandists are walking away with our magic. Next up, it's the Three of Wands. I think, well, this has multiple meanings, of course. The Three of Wands says luck is where preparation meets opportunity. I think Leni is saying, you know, now is our chance to prepare to address the propaganda we've all been fed up until this point. So eventually, you know, we're just talking about it here on the internet now, but, you know, the real effects will happen down the road when we're ready to step up when the opportunities present themselves. And naturally, this could also be an autobiographical statement from Leni. I was the one who was prepared to make those films. I was the quote unquote lucky person who got to make those movies that are both beautiful and a scar on my reputation. Let's follow that up with the Seven of Pentacles. Maybe we have a lot of work to do to be ready for the opportunity as the age of Aquarius opens up and blossoms more to learn more about the secret space programs and what's underneath us. Okay. And that's going to take a lot of work, but we're going to see fruits of our labor. Look at those coins, those pentacles. Okay. Again, now is our chance to invest our energy in this kind of learning. Okay. And then also to go back to Lena's autobiographical statements, I was the one that was ready. I was the one that was trained to make these films. And then they were still a lot of work. I put a lot of work into it. So I suppose Leni says. And finally, a comment from Leni about propaganda. Thank you, Leni. This is a reassuring message. The Ten of Swords says it's the end of a painful episode. It's the end of a painful era. It's the end of a painful episode because the 1940s are gone, but also we're still reeling from the 1940s, everybody. If you're tuned in to STARCARD podcast, you know what I'm talking about. But right now in 2025, this is also the end of a painful episode. While podcasts like this one, this is certainly not the only one, are delivering information to say that the new world order, that old plan is over, and we can make a new world if we follow the Queen of Swords and look for what's true. Thank you, Topsy and Leni. And now 3 cards to close our meeting with those special guests. The Page of Pentacles, another king. End of a painful episode. See through past the propaganda. The Page of Pentacles says now you have a new opportunity, even a new financial opportunity, for sure. Okay. Oh, yeah. The 9 of Cups says it's a wish come true. Yeah, good. I'm getting all excited. And and the 7 of Cups says there's so many opportunities. Wow. Thank you, Topsy. Thank you, Leni. Thank you, Tarot World. You guys couldn't have made it any easier for me today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's give these cards a toss. And then let's go to the chat and see if anyone wants a reading. Okay, you guys look like you're having a good time. I see Johnny left quite a collage of hearts. Hello, Johnny. Thank you very much for joining me again. I appreciate the invitation you extended me yesterday. If you caught any of my new postings, my new video postings, anyway, I know you're interested. We have a lot of friends from Psychic Liz Cross's world. And I want to thank all of Psychic Liz Cross's friends for joining me. I really appreciate it. Okay, so back up to the top. Let me get a piece of paper. Here we go. Let's see who wants a reading. Number 1, it's Mrs. NW5. That's Judy. Hello, Judy. Hello, Judy. Thanks again for joining me. Number 2, Maria Madrigal. Hello, Maria Madrigal. Good to see you again. Okay, next up, did I see a number 3 yet? No. Oh, Mrs. NW5 wants 1 card. Got it. Just saw that message. Thank you, Judy. That helps. Hello, Stephanie Clark. I just saw your name. I'm just saying hello. Julia Akerhaven. Hey, Julia, I see your name. I'm looking for, number 3, Arizona Raven. Hi, Arizona Raven. I see you. Let me see if I got some kind of message. All right. So, Arizona Raven. 1 card for Julia. I see it. Thanks, Julia. I'm going to scroll up through the chat, everybody, but like if you haven't heard me say your name yet for a reading, if you type it in all caps, I'm more likely to see it. And you could do it also right now because I got my eyeball in the bottom corner of the chat. So, thank you, Johnny. Stephanie Clark wants to have a reading. All right. Hi, Stephanie Clark. Write your name down. Thanks for the help, Johnny. Julia wants 1 card. Got that one. Okay. I'm going up to the top. Look at all you guys passing notes in class. I'm teasing. You guys have a good time. Let me see what's going on here. Maria Madrigal got her. Oh, Al-Araud is back. Great. And it sounds like Al-Araud would like a reading. Trying to see if there's any other possible chats I'm missing. Stephanie Clark. Okay, got it. Right. Had Johnny's help on that one. Good job, Stephanie. Thanks for typing in all caps. Taylor Scheffler. Oh, hello, Taylor Scheffler. Welcome to the show. I'm going to write down your name. This is great. This is a lot of fun. This is like extended recess for me. Let's keep playing. Let's see. Still looking for any extra chat requests I might have missed, but now let's just go right down to the bottom there. Okay, good. Got it. Okay, so I'm going to go down to the tarot cam and follow my list, just so that you know who I've got. Judy wants 1 card. Maria Madrigal, Arizona Raven. Julia wants 1 card. Stephanie Clark, Al-Araud, 1989, and Taylor Scheffler. And when it comes up for your turn, if you want to type in the chat a special focus or something, that'll help a little bit, but I'm pretty sure the tarot world knows what you want to talk about. All right, so first up, Judy, 1 card. Yeah, I want to give Judy her card. Oh, thanks, Maria Madrigal. I see your message. You also want one card. Got it. Let me write that down. Okay, thanks, Maria. Okay, I'm getting all ready to go, but if you've watched the show before, you might be accustomed to this part. I need a quick timeout to take a drink. One moment, please. Here you go. Here's that rotunda in London. I'm going to be embarrassed if my slurping comes out on the video. I apologize. At least I did it off camera. Okay, so let's get Judy one card. Judy is anyway, there's a bonus card, maybe, Judy, for you or for everybody. That's on the bottom of the deck. It suggests completion, the world card does. Anyway, let's get Judy a card. Really appreciate talk about dedication. There's an ocean between us and a continent between us, and Judy always shows up. And I want to say she pays attention like most of the students in my class. And I mean that in a good way. They were all tuned in too, because they were waiting for me to do some kinds of impressions or tell some. If you pay attention, Mr. Breakaway is going to make a joke. So tune in. Anyway, let's get a card for Judy. How about a helpful, fun message for Judy, please? She's enjoying STARCARD podcast. She has a very enjoyable life going on across the pond. Here's a card for Judy. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. The 8 of Pentacles. Let's read. Diligence, passion, high standards, apprenticeship, mastery, skill development, repetitive tasks. Doesn't that, and almost all those things, the 8 of Pentacles, it sounds like the title of your autobiography. Just from what little I know about you, you seem to be working industriously on lots of great things. All right. Thank you very much, Judy. I appreciate you so much. And now let's get a card for Maria Madrigal. I'm hearing the bell rung at the stock market. Is it 6:30 in the morning yet? Oh, yeah, the market's already open? Thanks, Stephanie. All right, Maria, let's get you one card. I'm going to get you a card. Don't worry, the right card's going to come out. How about a helpful, fun card for Maria Madrigal? Thank you, Tarot World. Doing a great job. Everyone's paying attention to you, Tarot World. Oh, yeah? A great card for Maria Madrigal, please. Here we go. Oh, yeah. The 9 of Pentacles, who eventually becomes the Queen of Pentacles. And she talks about the fruits of your labor. The fruits of your labor. I'll read to you the rest of I'll read you the rest of the terms here. Fruits of labor, rewards, luxury, self-sufficiency, financial independence. All right. Feels like a good card, Maria Madrigal. I feel like you're enjoying it. Let's see who's next. Thank you, Maria Madrigal. I appreciate Judy and Maria inviting me to read. I love the practice. Thank you so much. Next up, it's Arizona Raven. Yeah, you're welcome, Maria Madrigal. Hello, Nancy P. I see your name in the chat there. Okay, but this is for Arizona Raven, our friend Arizona Raven. I think she's in the same time zone I'm in. All right, Arizona Raven. Glad you were able to tune in. I know you got a pretty set schedule and you're a busy person. I appreciate you making time of your day for Breakaway Ray. Thanks for letting me in your life. And that goes to everybody tuning in. Thanks a lot. Wow, what's going on there? How about some nice cards for Arizona Raven, please? Our friend Arizona Raven. Thanks, Arizona Raven, for showing up. I appreciate your support. I want to thank Arizona Raven. And obviously I want to thank all the subscribers. I can't tell you how motivating it is to know that people want to see me and hear from me. So these cards are for Arizona Raven. How about a helpful, fun message for Arizona Raven, please? Arizona Raven. First up is the Eight of Wands, which indicates flight and travel, but also speed, like something's coming in quickly. Next up, wow, it's the seven card in the major arcana. It's the Chariot. And look at the Chariot's got like two horses. I know they're sphinxes. It's got like two horses and you're sitting in a carriage there. Okay. The Chariot indicates movement. Pretty soon there's some movement. Wow. And then you got the Fool card, which is the beginning of everything. A new adventure, new opportunity, blind faith, trust in life. Pretty soon you're going to be moving more towards a new kind of beginning. Maybe, this is just a refreshing, sunny, bright morning. Hopefully you're just having a wonderful new day. My grandma used to say, today is the first day of the rest of your life. I mean, let's face it, yesterday is gone, right? Next up, Arizona Raven. All right, everyone sees the cups fall down once in a while. No use crying over spilled milk. It's the Five of Cups. There's some disappointment here. It says regret, failure, disappointment, pessimism, loss, and grief. And I love talking about how this guy's focusing on the, what's lost, and he's not looking behind him. He's got two great cups. And you know what? He's probably got two hands and he could pick up those cups and he'll have just what he needs. The universe is giving him what he needs. Look for what you need. What's it say on the reverse Five Cups? I love turning these cards upside down. Acceptance, moving on, finding peace, personal setbacks, and self-forgiveness. Acceptance, self-forgiveness, might as well. Again, yesterday is gone. Yesterday is yesterday. Ayer es por la ayer. Ayer es por ayer. There we go. Okay, next up, it's justice. You have to have balance. I mean, there's cause and effect. Wow. Then you have the Nine of Wands, which is like giving it one last go, gearing up for one last try. And then, wow, this is too exciting. This is like pretty intense. The Tower card showed up. So there's going to be there's a dynamic of disappointment or accepting something so that you could have balance. And then when you give it one last try, there's some things that are going to fall away. But the good news is that stuff needed to fall down, needed to, fall away. So it makes me think myself, I mean, if I'm trying to characterize the way I'm trying to perceive the cards, there's some disappointment. It's going to be better if I prepare for the worst and even accept and move on from it, no matter what the injury was, because that whole situation needs to come apart anyway. And I want to say, not only is it going to happen soon, but you have a powerful vehicle by which to do it, and it's going to set you on a new path. And you could trust that the universe, look at the rock that the Fool is standing on. It's almost like God's hand is holding him. So it's a new path for you. I mean, are you asking for change? I know something I learned is that you need to say out loud in your meditation, I give permission for change. Because if you gave permission for change, it looks like the universe is ready to balance things out for you. Maybe I'm getting too way into it, Arizona Raven. I'm trying to help, trying to tell a fun, inspirational story. And I'm just grateful I get a chance to talk to you. So thanks very much, Arizona Raven, for inviting me to read. Oh, way to go, Arizona Raven. So I'm going to move the camera up here. So I just saw Arizona Raven gave me a little bit of a confirmation, kind of. And, ladies and gentlemen, while I appreciate what you share, I want to remind you that this is a public forum. And, what's private in your business is your business. Nevertheless, when people do put in the chat, Breakaway Ray, you're right about this part, or, they give me a thumbs up of some kind, that really helps me, because I've only been doing this since March and I'm still in training. So when you do give me confirmations, or even when you say I'm not close, for example, again, that does help me as I proceed forward and I try to do more readings for more people. So thanks again. I think you can see I'm getting better at it, right? Because you see, you see the tarot cards I'm throwing this week as opposed to last week. I mean, even after 1 week, there's been an improvement, an upgrade, as it were. And I attribute that in part to your contribution. Thank you. So let's go back down and go to the next person. Thank you, Arizona Raven. Julia Anchorhaven wants 1 card. All right, Julia. Thanks a lot. Another friend from across the pond over in Great Britain. How about a nice, friendly, helpful card for Julia Anchorhaven? I'm using this sentence in quotations marks. She's doing God's work. I mean, she's putting stuff on her program, her podcast. Just look up her name, Anchorhaven, okay? That benefits all of us. And it'll be there for as long as her channel's up, right? So it's going to help people forever. People can always go back and check her video library. How about 1 fun, inspirational card that helps Julia Anchorhaven, please? Here we go. The Moon. It's the intuition card. And now let's take a look at what it says on the card. Illusion, mystery, dreams, intuition, fear, anxiety, subconscious, and premonitions. It kind of sounds like the High Priestess is at your place. And, I don't know if she's folding laundry or being domestic or whatever, but she is the High Priestess. And the subconscious is always gone. It's always powerful. I hope that was a fun, inspirational message. Hey, Julia, I'm inspired every time you come tune into my show. So thank you very much. I appreciate you inviting me to read. I appreciate all your support. Next up, it's Stephanie Clark. I know, Julia. I didn't want to say anything about that other card. Okay, I'm sorry. Who am I looking at again? Stephanie Clark. All right, Stephanie Clark. I'm going to go ahead and throw some cards for Stephanie Clark. We're going to get a fun, helpful message for Stephanie Clark. Thank you very much, Tarot World, for all the fun, helpful messages. I think the crowd's enjoying it. I know I'm having a good time too. And now, do you have a fun, helpful message for our friend Stephanie Clark? Thank you very much. A fun, helpful message for Stephanie Clark, please. These cards are for Stephanie Clark. A fun, helpful message for Stephanie Clark, please. These cards are for Stephanie Clark. Here we go. This is for entertainment purposes only. I hope I'm inspirational. I hope it's fun. I hope it helps you. And if I'm accurate, that's awesome too. It's the Hierophant. The Hierophant is the learned man. And let me read to you the terms on the card. It says institutions, tradition, religion, society and its rules, social approval, conformity, forgiveness, mercy, wisdom, and trust. Next up for Stephanie Clark, it's the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune says good luck, karma, life cycles, destiny, turning point, change, inevitable fate, ups and downs, unpredictable. Woo! This guy's all about being predictable, and this card may not be. So where do you go? Well, the Queen of Swords says, you were right. Let's see what it says here. Unbiased judgment, independent, clear boundaries, direct communication, clear-minded, perceptive. Regardless of what happens, this is a person, or the suggestion is that you use what you have learned to maintain control and stay on your soul's path. Because rather than making this a wheel of fortune like a roulette wheel, you want it to be about fate and destiny. So learn more about yourself, suggests Breakaway Ray, some guy throwing cards on the internet. Okay, learn more about yourself and your soul's path so that you can follow your soul's path and your fate in the truest sense. Whether or not that applies, I don't know, but it sure sounds like a wonderful statement for all of us to abide by, right? Next up, Stephanie, it's the 9 of Swords, and for me, it's already upside down here. We could just go right to the reverse 9 of Swords. The reverse 9 of Swords, I'm looking for releasing worry, having hope, and reaching out. Releasing worry, having hope, reaching out. And then the Page of Swords talks about new communication, new ideas, curiosity, thirst for knowledge, new ways of communicating, mental energy. If to follow the story that we were going with up here, with this person, Stephanie Clark, this person I'm pretending, is telling us a story here. We're going to learn about our soul's path. So we make this about fate and not about luck. We're staying true to ourselves. We may have spent some time being concerned about it. Am I in the right place? Am I doing the right thing? Do I need to change things? Well, maybe, I'm going to learn a new way of communicating. I'm going to study and learn new ideas. They're going to help me find that fate, find that destiny in the truest sense. Oh, there might be heartache on the way, but I think I pulled it out upside down. And I love turning these cards upside down. It's the 3 of Swords, which indicates heartache. But on the reverse side, it says forgiveness, optimism, recovery, and moving on. Whatever caused us some trauma, again, that was yesterday. Let's learn new things. Today's a new day. Let's accept and move on. Don't hold grudges. That's not healthy. Get that stuff out of your energy zone. And then finally, you'll be sitting like the Queen of Pentacles. I'm so glad the Tarot World is helping me at STARCARD Podcast. The Queen of Pentacles in the end is nurturing and practical. It also says providing financially and a working parent. But again, we're talking about a practical person. Was there something on your mind that was bothering you? Take that energy, learn about it, channel it into something positive, because despite the pain, you could forgive all that and move on. You got better things to do. You need to be practical. Okay, I hope that was helpful, Stephanie Clark. I appreciate you inviting me to read. I sure had fun telling the story. Next up, it's Al Araud, 1989. All right, how about another fun, helpful message for Al Araud? Thanks for requesting the reading, Al Araud, 1989. Tarot World, thanks for all the great messages and making me look good. Could we please have a fun, helpful message for Al Araud, 1989? Thank you. These cards are for Al Araud, 1989. These cards are for Al Araud, 1989. A fun, helpful message for Al Araud, 1989, please. These are for Al Araud. Al Araud. These cards are for Al Araud. Ooh, that guy wanted to come out. These cards are for Al Araud, 1989. Thank you for the message. All right, Al Araud, you're back for more. Here you go. First up, you're watching STARCARD Podcast. It's the STARCARD. Hope, calm, faith, purpose, renewal, spirituality, fortune, good omen, rejuvenation. Good morning and right back at you, Al Araud, 1989. Next up, King of Pentacles. Wealth, business, leadership, security, discipline, abundance, prosperity, generosity. Nice. Next. Wow. We're dominating the Hierophant, the learned man, and social acceptance. And what other terms ring along with this? Institutions, tradition, religion, society and its rules. Wow, look at that. The Wheel of Fortune wanted to come out for you also. Very quickly, to be simple about it, have hope. You're going to end up being the King of Pentacles soon. that's your role. It's your fate. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure you can see a message. Let's see all three cards here. Okay, there's the Eight of Swords. We'll get to that in a minute. Oh, the Three of Swords. Yo, what is happening here? And then the Queen of Pentacles. That seems extremely coincidental. I know everyone saw me shuffle and draw randomly, right? But didn't these guys come out next to each other before in the last round? So to help Al Araud, 1989, you know, you're watching STARCARD and you're feeling good. And with the Hierophant, we're learning a lot. And we're somehow fortune is involved. Maybe you just got lucky. You found STARCARD podcast. Because as much as you can imagine, there's some painful episodes that he talks about on the podcast. Nevertheless, by the time we're all done, we feel like the Queen of Pentacles, you know, we're considering things in a practical manner. I hope that this wasn't just about my podcast. Maybe this was about our relationship all around 1989. Or maybe you see a story that I don't know anything about. And these cards really did send a message. In any case, I hope it was entertaining. Maybe it was helpful and fun. And if it was accurate, I'll be surprised. Thanks a lot, Al Araud. And then finally, I've got Taylor Scheffler. Thanks, Johnny. Appreciate it very much. Thank you, Stephanie Clark. That's great. You know, again, confirmations are awesome, aren't they? Everyone loves it when you come off the field and the coach says, good job. Thanks very much. And by the way, I know the people at STARCARD podcast are the best people to ask because most of you are magical and telepathic and you understand the spirit world. So, you know, these are not just empty, this is not empty praise. This is high praise, meritorious praise. So thank you very much. Okay, so again, this is for Taylor Scheffler. Thank you, Maria Madrigal. Okay, so here we go, Taylor. How about some helpful, fun messages for Taylor Scheffler, please? Appreciate your time and your help, Tarot World. Apparently, the people in the crowd do too. They're sending me good messages. You're doing a great job, Tarot World, every time. Makes me want to go another couple hours. I'm just kidding. Well, actually, you know I'm not kidding, but nevertheless, we're going to wrap it up pretty soon. So how about a nice, helpful, fun message for Taylor Scheffler, please? Taylor Scheffler. A helpful, fun message for Taylor Scheffler, please. These cards are for Taylor. Cards for Taylor, please. These cards are for Taylor. Thank you, Taylor Scheffler. Thank you, Tarot World. Oh, yeah, all these guys? Okay, and yeah, I got to do the bottom card. Here we go. Here we go, Taylor Scheffler. I can't remember. Is this our first reading together? All right, that's a lot of fun. Oh, thank you, Al Araud. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Okay, so Taylor, we got the Knight of Pentacles. And the Knight of Pentacles says, hard work, productivity, routine, conservation, efficiency, responsibility. I want to hire that guy. Then the King of Swords shows up. The King of Swords says, head over heart, disciplined, truthful, honest, mental clarity, authority. I wanted to hire this guy because I can see clearly he's the right person for the job. Oh, and then the Seven of Cups talks about opportunities, but let's read all the terms on the Seven of Cups. But okay, so let's look at the card first. Opportunities, wishful thinking, choices, illusion, searching for purpose, and daydreaming. Okay, so people could get lost with all these opportunities presenting themselves, but don't forget, this guy has clear vision and he's head over heart. He's very sensible and he's coming at it with this guy's energy, with the appropriate amount of hard work, but also being able to take care of oneself, quote unquote, self-love. This is a composed individual. That's the person I want to hire when all these opportunities come up. It looks like a very promising situation. It's like a kid graduated high school with a 3.7 or better GPA, and now he can go to any college he wants to. Or she. Okay. All right. The Ten of Swords looks like a scary picture, but the best news is that the Ten of Swords says it's the end of a painful episode. So let's take a look at what the Ten of Swords says. Painful endings, deep wounds, betrayal, loss, crisis, failure, collapse, and defeat. I know it doesn't sound great, but we can always turn the card upside down. We'll turn that frown upside down, turn it into something happy here. Ten of Swords reversed, can't get worse, only upward, recovery, regeneration. Nice. And the Page of Swords says you're going to have new tools to do it, to move on from that painful episode. It includes new ideas, new ways of communicating, curiosity, and a thirst for knowledge. Yeah, that's what I do. I got a problem, I go to the library and learn about it. The Five of Cups showed up again. It's the disappointment card, but we like to turn this card over and read the Five of Cups reversed. Acceptance, moving on. Finding peace, personal setbacks, self-forgiveness. All right, in the NFL, there's only one undefeated team, and it's the Miami Dolphins team, coached by Don Shula in the early 1970s. Okay, there's only one undefeated team, but guess what? There have been 58 or 59 Super Bowl winners. Okay, they all lost at least one game. Okay, there's only one perfect team, so we all can't expect to come down to Earth's surface, the best school in the universe, and not expect to be disappointed. That's the whole point. Okay, anyway. So when you go through life and you end one painful episode, okay, you learn from it. You learn new ways of behaving, new ways of addressing things, new ways of looking at things. And when you have a disappointment, you turn that card upside down into something positive, and you make the world come apart, like the Tower card says, and you look beyond those walls to create something awesome, like the Four of Pentacles, who says, hold on to what you got. Hold on to what's valuable. It also suggests penny pinching and saving for a rainy day. Living on Earth is hard work, emotionally and financially. Anyway, Taylor, I had fun telling the story, and I hope it meant something to you, or at least made you smile somehow. Thank you very much for inviting me to read. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, thank you very much, Nancy. Hey, everybody. I may have missed somebody's chat request for a tarot reading, but I did do, I think, like 7 today, and that's a larger number than usual. And we've also gone longer than we normally do. So I'm going to go ahead and dismiss class for today. Thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate spending time with you. So on weekdays, I try to give you a morning show. On the weekend, I allow myself to freestyle a little bit more. I want to encourage you all to have a great day. As you go through your day, don't forget to look up in the sky so you can see your star. My name is Breakaway Ray. Have a great day. Thanks, everybody.